trained in the truth. I bang in the booth, drop the top on the coupe and let the rain in the roof.
Yeah, neighborhood that bustle. Giving a shout out right now to SPR in the streets. Spotter Low, y'all already know what it is. Sauce and that. Neighborhood that bustle. Big shout out to SPR, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
Yeah, it's the first time I done seen something say famous rapper, and when I click on, I actually know who the rapper is and can agree that he's somewhat famous. Rich Homie Quan, no further ado, let's see what they say he had been up to. You can't see me, I know you want to see me.
You right there. Hey, come fuck with my people, man, at Triple C LA for the best quality and best prices on the ZOC. You know what I'm saying? Shit's smoking.
And he celebrated the short but impactful life.
Talk to 9, 10 times a day. I know you're up there in heaven looking down on us. If you don't mind, save a spot for me.
The music world was still reeling when news broke that one of Atlanta's most recognizable voices, a man whose hits once defined summers, was found lying dead on the floor in his home. At just 33 years old, the circumstances surrounding
That number keep coming up, 33. Nissy at 33, Nipsey at 33, Rich Homie Quan at 33, and we only really take notice because of Jesus is at 33.
his final days made the loss feel even heavier. This wasn't simply the story of a sudden passing. It came just 72 hours after he had publicly addressed explosive testimony about a violent attack on his father years earlier. A moment that reopened old wounds and reignited conversations about unresolved conflicts in Atlanta's rap scene.
You had a really bad situation recently where your dad got...
I'll be damned, it's old Vladim 22. They got the same name. They one and the same. Just like Adam is Vladim, Vlad is Vladim. Just add their names together on the other one.
Got shot.
Yeah, man.
How hard was that getting that type of news?
Look at them directly trying to prosper off of black pain. That's their recipe.
That was pretty hard, bro. You know what I mean? I really try not to talk about it, but like, that shit was hard, man. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I got a career still at hand, you know what I mean? And at the same time, like, my career doesn't stop. You know, so, and I go see him every day, you feel me? Like, to this day, my dad still is in the hospital, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, he's still in the hospital?
Yeah, he's still in the hospital. You know what I mean? My dad been in the hospital for 2.5 months.
Of DeQuantis Devontae Lamar, a rapper whose rise from the streets of Atlanta to international fame was as swift as it was complicated. As investigations launched into his death, the police and medical examiners would find a sad story that makes the heartbreak of his passing even more tragic. This is the life and death of DeQuantis Devontae Lamar, known to millions as Rich Homie Quan. Quan was born on October 4th, 1989 in Atlanta. Growing up, he was surrounded by the energy and ambition that shaped the city's hip-hop identity. He attended McNair High School in DeKalb County, where music began to pull him away from sports and other pursuits. By his early 20s, his talent for melodic hooks and raw storytelling had begun to turn heads locally. But when he decided to make his official debut, he still did not expect what hit him. In 2012, his breakout mixtape, I Go In on Every Song, marked the start of a meteoric climb. Within a year, he had signed with Think It's a Game Entertainment, a move that put him alongside artists like Young Thug and deep inside the fabric of Atlanta's rap network. Collaborations like Type Away and Lifestyle with Young Thug and Birdman pushed him onto the national stage, earning millions of streams and a spot on XXL's coveted freshman class list in 2014. That same year, he was nominated for multiple BET and BET Hip Hop Awards, including Best New Artist and the People's Champ Award. But even as his music career flourished, life outside the booth brought moments of real danger. In 2014, Quan's father, Corey Lamar, endured one of the most harrowing experiences of his life. He survived being shot multiple times during an attempted robbery at his Atlanta barbershop. Corey would later recall that the attackers walked in and opened fire, hitting him 6 times, though 2 bullets caused multiple entry and exit wounds. He described suffering several flesh injuries, but the ordeal was anything but minor. At 45 years old, Corey had never been hospitalized before. Yet the shooting left him in a hospital bed for 72 days.
I was from the street, and I was street. I ain't never been in no hospital. I was in the hospital 72 days, man. Like, they went crazy down there, man.
Me
Yeah,
up,
had
bro.
never been, man.
45 years
Yeah,
old.
man, I'm thinking I'm gonna go in and come out, man. Them folks kept me 72 days, man.
What was going on? Was it the bleeding, the blood clots?
Well,
Like,
you
what?
know, is man, you know, first of all, it's about the dollar. Had great insurance.
yeah.
You know,
Run
they
that
don't
up.
milk that.
Yeah,
You know, I done
yeah.
had buddies got shot, didn't have no insurance. They
Get
home
outta
in
here.
3 days.
Yeah,
You know
nigga
what I'm
bad.
saying?
That's facts. They'll put a Band-Aid on you and push you out the door so quick when you got that bullshit insurance. They breathe.
Yeah, like I'm like, damn, homie, you home?
Right.
Hold on.
Yeah.
And I felt like I could have came on home. You feel me?
But they milking it.
Yeah. So like, man, when you look at life, man, like one of my partners told me, I've been through some stuff, man.
Yeah.
And not only that, when I got shot in 14, my grandmother who raised me, I lost her while I was in the hospital, man.
So, man, it's crazy right here, fam.
Man, look, you see my glory, but you don't know my story,
Right.
man.
The physical pain was compounded by a personal tragedy during his hospital stay. Corey lost the grandmother who had raised him, and he wasn't even able to attend her funeral. Quan spoke about the incident in later interviews, admitting how much it shook him. His father's recovery became a long, grueling process, and the weight of that reality clashed with the demands of a music career that was suddenly exploding. He was touring, recording, and making public appearances, all while privately carrying the fear and uncertainty of almost losing a parent. For Corey, the experience was life-altering. He said it made him stronger mentally and spiritually, but it also deepened his perspective on the dangers surrounding the rap industry. For years, no one was charged in the shooting and the motive remained unclear. Then, nearly a decade later, that dark moment was thrust back into the spotlight during the high-profile YSL racketeering trial in Atlanta. Inside a crowded courtroom, a cooperating witness, YSL affiliate Kenneth Copeland, known as YSL Woody, gave explosive testimony under immunity. He tied the 2014 attack to a web of ongoing street tensions, tracing the motive back to incidents like the gambling house shooting. According to his account, the earlier event involved gunfire erupting outside while children and other bystanders were present. Woody claimed that his associate, known as Threat, had an ongoing personal dispute, and that Quan's father's barbershop was targeted as part of that conflict. He told the court that he and Threat pulled up to the shop not to rob it, but to send a message. He admitted they weren't looking for Quan directly, but wanted to make it clear that they were not to be played with. The testimony described a chain of events involving other figures, street disputes, and confrontations at public places, like the Cascade skating rink, where Woody allegedly pulled a gun on another man to prove a point. The courtroom revelations didn't just revive the barbershop shooting, they pulled it into a larger narrative of retaliation, violence, and street politics, and the blurred lines between Atlanta's rap scene and its underground conflicts. The details spread quickly online, sparking debate about loyalty, beefs, and the dangerous consequences of disputes that spill into public spaces. For Quan and his family, it was the reopening of a wound they had hoped to keep closed. What had once been a personal trauma was now part of a headline-grabbing testimony, dissected and speculated upon by thousands. Yet through it all, Corey said his focus remained on survival, faith, and leaving judgment to God. The trial might have linked their story to a larger criminal case, but for the Lamar family, the reality was simpler. They had lived through an attack, endured years without answers, and were still standing. But this new wave of speculation needed to be addressed, and Quan took that responsibility up. Just 3 days before his death, Quan addressed the testimony in an interview. He confirmed that the barbershop had indeed been shot up, but dismissed Woody's account as exaggerated. He noted that his father's shop had reopened the very same day. The exchange was brief, but it was the last time Quan would speak publicly about the attack. Not by choice, because on September 5th, 2024, tragedy struck. According to Atlanta police and medical examiner reports, Quan was at home when his girlfriend, Amber Williams,
It's almost a year to the date.
saw him sleeping on the sofa that morning. She assumed he was resting and covered him with a blanket before taking her child to school. When she checked on him later around 11 a.m., his body was cold and he was unresponsive, and she panicked. When the 911 call came in on the morning of September 5th, 2024, Atlanta emergency dispatchers could hear the panic in Amber's voice. She had already described Reach Homie Kwana as cold to the touch, unresponsive, and not breathing.
On the line with you, okay? What's
Okay.
Atlanta
Amber
911, operator 7214. What is the location of your emergency? All right, you need police, fire, or ambulance?
I need an ambulance.
Tell me exactly what happened.
My boyfriend, he's been asleep on the couch since this morning. Well, he never came to bed last night. Sleep on the couch. I left him on the couch before I took my son to school this morning, put a blanket over him. And now I just checked on him again because he never got up. I don't feel a heartbeat. I don't see him breathing.
And you said, hold on, you said on the couch, and what happened?
I said I put a cover over him because it gets a little cool. He's in the living room. And now I just checked on him because I see he never got up.
He was dead. That's crazy.
And I don't see him breathing. I don't feel a heartbeat or anything. And I turned him over. I see he kind of foamed at the mouth.
I'm sorry, are you saying he's not breathing? Is that correct? I'm not hearing you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am. If there's
Yes.
a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Is there a what?
If there's a defibrillator available.
I thought she said something like that. Ventilator, defibrillator. Like, who? What is that? Who just has that around? What the
Available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
Okay.
I need to know about how old he is.
He's 34.
Oh, so he's 34, not 33.
Okay, are you right by him now?
Yes.
Okay, please put your phone on speaker so your hands are free to help.
Can I add his dad to the call? He's trying to call me back because I called him first before I called you.
Okay, so we need to help your boyfriend now. Okay, listen carefully. Lay him flat on his back on the floor and remove anything under his head.
He is not waking up. Quick.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, you gotta get him to the floor. Lay him flat on his back on the floor and remove anything under his head.
Flat on his back on the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Help me.
What's your?
He's not here.
Yeah,
Were you able to get him to the floor?
Yes, he's not. His heart not beating or anything.
Dispatchers immediately instructed her on CPR steps, urging her to get him onto the floor, flat on his back, and to remove anything from underneath his head. They reminded her that every second counted. Paramedics from Atlanta Fire Rescue arrived at the scene within minutes. Upon entering the home, they found the 34-year-old rapper lying unresponsive. His skin was cold and there were no signs of a heartbeat. The foam present at his mouth was an alarming indicator, one that often points to a possible drug overdose or cardiac event. Things were not looking good. Medics began advanced life-saving measures, but after repeated attempts to revive him, it was clear that he was gone. Police officers from the Atlanta Police Department's Zone 4 unit arrived soon after. To secure the scene, as per protocol on any sudden unexplained death, they began documenting every detail. There were no immediate signs of foul play, no evidence of forced entry, no signs of a struggle, and no physical trauma visible on his body. The apartment was quiet, almost eerily so considering the chaos that had just unfolded. Officers spoke first to Amber, who explained that she had seen him sleeping on the couch earlier that morning before taking her son to school. She assumed he was simply resting after a long night. When she returned later, she realized he had not moved and appeared lifeless. Investigators also spoke to Kwan's brother, who had been in the home earlier that morning. His account was equally chilling. Around 3 a.m., he had found Kwan lying on the kitchen floor with food still in his mouth, something he described as very unusual. Concerned but unsure what was happening, he moved Quan onto the couch, thinking he had simply fallen asleep in an odd spot. Hours later, that decision would weigh heavily on him. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office was notified and arrangements were made to transfer.
Seems as if you moving a grown person, the level of the dead weight, you would know they're not asleep, they're not making no noise. Or maybe he had just passed out at that point and was still breathing. It hadn't quite passed.
Transport Quan's body to Grady Memorial Hospital. The autopsy would be scheduled for the next morning, and toxicology tests would follow to determine the precise cause of death. At this stage, authorities were careful not to speculate publicly. Meanwhile, word of the rapper's death spread rapidly across Atlanta. Police officers at the scene noted that by the time they left, neighbors and friends were already gathering outside. For a man as deeply embedded in the Atlanta music community, news like this traveled fast. Meanwhile, the Fulton County Medical Examiner's investigation was meticulous.
On September 6th, an autopsy was performed. There were no signs of external injury and nothing indicated physical assault. The medical team collected multiple blood and tissue samples for toxicology analysis, which would test for the presence of drugs, alcohol, and other substances. In the weeks that followed, investigators pieced together the final hours of his life. Statements from friends and family painted a picture of a man who had been in the public eye just days earlier, still giving interviews, still interacting with fans, still talking about music. But there were also subtle indications of personal struggle. Quan himself had spoken openly in past interviews about his history with drugs, describing how they had once been an almost daily part of his routine during the height of his early fame. While it wasn't clear whether those habits had fully continued in recent years, the autopsy results would later confirm the presence of multiple potent substances in his system. The toxicology report revealed fentanyl, alprazolam, commonly known as Xanax, codeine, promethazine, and THC. This combination, authorities determined,
Doing fatty, sipping lean, popping Xanny, smoking weed. We were trying to get too high, just too high.
Was lethal.
But was it drugs involved?
Oh, hell yeah, man. I was on Molly every day.
Oof.
Listen, geeked up, bite down. Listen, I'm talking, bro, I felt like I couldn't do a show or a song without being on Molly.
When did that start? When did the habit start?
When the habit started, on the road, when I first got the road, on the road, the $800 show, I ain't drink no liquor, no lean, no none of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Shit, after before some type of way, we was doing so many shows, I couldn't stay up. Mm. So I knew some people like, but I got something to keep you up. And motherfucker kept me up. And, you know.
It was a machine after that.
If you don't mind, who said
that's where the babies was coming from.
If you don't mind, who said that to you? Who said they got something for you to keep you up? Was it somebody from the industry or one of your friends?
It's a family member.
Oh, family member.
It's family. Yeah, you know, this family. I got
so
something
boom,
to keep you up.
Pop the Molly.
I'm sweating.
You sweating? Is this before you was rocking with Trinidad or?
Nah, this by the time. This by the same time. After like he said, I'm like, what the matter is? Let me see what they do. They ain't sweating for real. You know what I'm saying? Cause they gonna like, you know, I'm telling you, like right. Just being real. This around the time I started doing it. You know what I mean?
Even individually, these drugs can depress the central nervous system. Together, they created a perfect storm that slowed his breathing, stopped his heart, and ultimately ended his life. Soon, the official ruling on his cause of death came. The official ruling from the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office was that his death was an accident, the result of combined toxic effects from those substances.
I'm glad they ain't try to say he did it on purpose. When they said ended his own life, it seemed like they meant intentionally, but he just OD'd. Rest in peace.
There was no evidence to suggest intentional self-harm or that anyone had forcibly administered the drugs. Still, the presence of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid dozens of times more potent than heroin, raised questions. Had he knowingly taken something laced with it? Or had it been an unknowing fatal contamination? The investigation into the source of the drugs was far more complex. Atlanta police
probably a fake perk.
Began tracing back his contacts in the days leading up to his death, speaking to friends, associates, and others who might have been with him.
Overdose cases rarely end with a criminal suspect's arrest unless a direct supplier can be identified. In this case, despite exhaustive efforts, no public arrest was made in connection with the drugs found in his system. In the weeks after his passing, attention shifted from the investigation to the broader public health conversation. The details of his death became a tragic example of how fentanyl has infiltrated the illicit drug supply across the United States, often hidden in pills or powders without the user's knowledge. By late September, the investigation's findings were released to the public. Fans learned officially what close associates had quietly suspected, that this was an overdose, not a shooting or a targeted attack. It was a devastating blow, not just to his family, but to a fan base that had watched him navigate the highs and lows of fame for over a decade. Quan had been candid about his struggles with drug use in past interviews. On the hip-hop podcast My Expert Opinion, he spoke about how his habits intensified after his early hits. He admitted to using ecstasy daily at one point and regularly drinking lean, a mix of codeine syrup and promethazine, while performing and recording. He described that period as being lost in the sauce, explaining how it became a crutch for his creativity and his hectic lifestyle. In a city already grappling with the deaths of other artists to drug-related causes, Rich Homie Quan's passing struck an especially painful chord. Police had closed the immediate death investigation, but the unanswered question of how and from whom he obtained the fatal substances lingered. The tragedy was compounded by the fact that Quan's final week had brought him back into the orbit of old street disputes. The testimony about the shooting at his father's barbershop, a wound the Lamar family had carried for years, resurfaced in a trial that was drawing national headlines. The emotional weight of that moment, coupled with his sudden death days later, left a community searching for answers and clinging to memories. 3 weeks after his death, his family announced plans for a large public memorial. The details of the toxicology findings, though painful, were shared as a warning, a message that even the most successful, seemingly untouchable figures can be vulnerable to the hidden dangers of today's drug supply.
Rich Homie Quan's death was officially ruled an accident, caused by the combined toxic effects of fentanyl, alprazolam, codeine, promethazine, and THC. Without evidence pointing to intentional harm from another person, there was no criminal case to prosecute. Yet, in the court of public opinion, there was still outrage. Many asked how fentanyl continues to end up in street drugs, killing people in every corner of society, from anonymous users to world-famous artists. For Quan's family, the lack of a trial did not lessen the gravity of their loss. Their grief was the sentence they would carry for the rest of their lives. The first person to speak publicly after his death was his father, Corey. Known to fans as a strong and private man, Corey took to social media, describing his pain as unbearable. He wrote that losing his firstborn son felt like being crushed into a million pieces and pleaded with God for understanding. To Corey, Quan wasn't a celebrity or a chart-topping artist. He was his child, his best friend. His message was echoed by Quan's significant other, Amber, who had been the one to find him unresponsive. While she did not speak publicly in long statements, she shared posts from friends and family on social media, messages filled with prayers, love, and pleas for privacy. For those closest to Quan, the pain was compounded by the shock of how suddenly it all happened. The hip-hop community reacted in waves. Artists who had collaborated with Quan or grown up alongside him in the Atlanta rap scene flooded social media with tributes. Migos rapper Quavo, Boosie Badazz, and Playboi Carti were among the many who honored his memory. Boosie wrote that he would never forget Quan's smile, his unique way of talking, and of course his music. Industry peers reflected on how Quan's melodic hooks and heartfelt lyrics had influenced the sound of Atlanta rap. Reporters who had covered his career remembered his authenticity, a man who could deliver mainstream hits without losing his connection to the streets that raised him. On September 17, 2024, the city of Atlanta said goodbye. Quan's funeral was held in Georgia, beginning with a public viewing followed by a celebration of life event. Fans were not only invited to attend, but also allowed to watch a live stream on his official website. It was a rare gesture, one that allowed supporters from across the globe to participate in honoring him. The viewing drew a crowd that reflected the depth of his impact. Family, friends, industry insiders, and fans whose lives his music had touched. His 5 children, sons Devin, Royal, Kosin, and Loyal, were there, a living reminder of the legacy he left behind. He was a proud father, one who lit up when he was surrounded by his kids. In their official statement, they said that while he had left an undeniable hole in their hearts,
They were comforted by the knowledge that his music and triumphant spirit would live on. They called his career the soundtrack to their lives and thanked fans for their support during their darkest days. Inside the venue, the atmosphere was both somber and celebratory. People spoke of his generosity, his humor, and his ability to make others feel valued. Clips of his performances played on screens, each song a reminder of how deeply his work resonated. And while his passing was a devastating loss, the celebration of his life was a testament to the connections he forged beyond the charts and radio plays. The funeral closed with a symbolic gesture, releasing balloons in the colors most associated with his brand and music era. For many, it was a visual way to let go of the pain while holding on to the memories. Even after the memorials ended, the conversation around his death continued. Public health advocates used his story to highlight the dangers of fentanyl contamination in recreational drugs. His accidental overdose served as a cautionary tale, underscoring how easily a single pill could become fatal in today's drug landscape. The lingering questions remain. How did he obtain the drugs that took his life? Did he know they contained fentanyl? And how many more lives will be claimed before something changes? For his family, those answers may never come, but they have made it clear that his legacy will not be defined solely by the circumstances of his death. They want him remembered as the young man from Atlanta who made it to the world stage without forgetting his roots, as a father who loved his children, and as an artist whose voice became part of his city's cultural fabric. To anyone watching this who is battling substance use or experimenting with recreational drugs, consider this story a warning. Fentanyl's reach is relentless and it doesn't discriminate. One pill, one line, or one hit can be the difference between life and death. If you or someone you know is struggling, seek help immediately.
Yesterday was bullshit, but today gonna be a good day. Louisiana 3P, yeah, the 3P. I'm talking about the hood way, like when the Lakers got the 3P, got the 3P. I have to say it was a good day. Hey now, say now, I woke up feeling like it was my birthday. Checks coming in like the first day. I said checks coming in like the first day. Niggas tryna knock me off my pivot, I get ignorant, live it. Give it to you in the worst way, I give it how I live it. Let the church say amen. I was trying to chase a little 2K. I was trying to chase a little 2 bands, water and pineapple juice. Hold the deuce, I'm zeroed in. Shoot the beak off a bird. Toucan Sam, do you know who I am? It's Noonie. Bang that business, you goofy. See this big gold ring, if I mink me. You get loopy, crashing shit, I think I'm boosty. Debo, but this ain't no movie. This ain't 2B, this ain't no movie. Yesterday was bullshit, but today gonna be a good day. Louisiana 3Ps, yeah, the 3Ps. I'm talking about the hood way, like when the Lakers got the 3P, Have to say it was a good day. Hey now, say now, I woke up feeling like it was my birthday. Checks coming in like the first day. I said checks coming in like the first day. Really though, I read the back of my cereal box. I still keep a dub in my sock. Buddy man, you lucky I'm not. I'm about to blow, I'm about to pop. Shout out to the low, he passed me the rock. Hopped off the post, threw it in sport, ooh wee. Pocket stuff like a loose leaf. Pick and roll, we ain't talking about sushi. It's Noonie and the greenest for blue cheese. It's Noonie and the greenest for blue cheese. I'm about to blow, I'm about to pop. Shout out to the low, he passed me the rock. I'm about to blow, I'm about to pop. Shout out to the low, he passed me the rock.
What you call it all? You never gonna stop my money. You never gonna stop my hustle. You never gonna stop my money. You never gonna stop my hustle, cause I hustle for my money. 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 Can't knock my hustle, cause I hustle for my money. In case you hadn't noticed, we've been pulling up in Lotuses loaded. They know us, no more eviction notices. The whole bag, that's exactly what I goes and get, never beefing.
Yeah, neighborhood Nip Hustle. Giving a shout out right now to SPR in the streets. Spotter Low, y'all already know what it is. Source neighborhood Nip Hustle. Big shout out to SPR, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.